on January the 19th, 1946 in Sevier County, at the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Shortly after, we moved to a place called Locust Ridge, or as we always like to call it, over in the holler. I was the fourth of 12 children, so I pretty much spent my childhood surrounded by people. With that many kinfolk, you're going to always be fighting for attention. So I was probably louder than I should have been. But then I guess you could say I was just born to be a storyteller. And because so many of my family were musically inclined, I was also determined to tell my stories through song. I started writing songs before I could even write. I started making songs before I even started to school, and my mama used to write them down for me. We were a very poor family, but we were rich in love. Because we had so little, people used to save scraps of cloth and bring them to the house. One memory that's dear to my heart was the fall Mama began to make a coat for me. Now, a lot of times, when she made something out of patchwork, she'd try to find scraps that matched as close as possible so that it wouldn't be so obvious that they were scraps. But she knew me and my personality, so she decided to make my coat out of the brightest, most different colors she could find. A colorful coat, picture made in school, because they just didn't have anyone that would come around to a small school like ours. But one day, after we'd moved out of the holler, they were having pictures made at my new school, and I thought, boy, wouldn't my coat of many colors be perfect to wear to have my picture taken in?
Patches on my breeches, and holes in both my shoes. In my coat of many colors, I hurried off to school.
Just to find the others laughing and making fun of me in my coat of many colors my mama made for me.
So, when they took the picture, I was actually crying. But I forced myself to smile because I just wanted my picture made so bad. I suppose that's when I learned that if I wrote songs about things that bothered me, well then they don't bother me anymore.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me. They don't leave no rags, but I wore it so proudly. Although we had no money, I was rich as I could be. In my coat of many colors, my mama made for me. Made just for me.
If you didn't know it by now, then it comes as no surprise that I've always dressed just as I please. It makes me different. And ain't that what we all want to be? A little different? Now, nobody's going to be ordinary once you learn to believe in yourself.
Daddy was an old-time preacher man.
My grandpa, preacher Jake Owens, was a rock in our family, and almost from the day he was born, he felt the call to preach.
He preached the word of God throughout the land.
So I started singing in church when I was, well, as far back as I can remember.
He preached the way the child could understand.
I suppose I got much of my love for God and music from him and my family.
Yes, Daddy was an old-time preacher man. I am a seeker, a poor, sinful creature. There is no weaker than I am. I
him up. One day, I found what would become my own private place. An old abandoned church with broken windows, buckled floorboards, and a sad old neglected piano. Yet, I was fascinated by it all. I would sit and sing hymns at the top of my lungs and pray for a while, and suddenly it all kind of made sense because amidst all this dirt and dust and decay, God seemed more present than ever. And if he could find me here, he could find me anywhere. And if he believed in someone with such different dreams as me, maybe my hopes of making music and pursuing a greater purpose were not silly childhood ideas, but a part of a grander scheme, my own road to paradise. Now, he was a fine guitarist, songwriter, and singer. And in time, he would tour with some of the great country and western stars. He took a real interest in my talent. It was Uncle Bill that brought me to the attention of Kaz Walker. Mr. Walker had become a multi-millionaire by selling his groceries on radio and TV. And I remember the day that Uncle Bill introduced me. Looked up at him in his starched white shirt, almost eye level with his belt buckle, which seemed to a poor kid from the hills to be a thing of almost unimaginable richness.
Mr. Walker, I want to work for you.
Well, young lady, you've got a job. A lot of people come to me and say, Mr. Walker, I want a job. But you said I want to work for you. You're hired because you're the first one that ever wanted to work.
And did I ever? This show was broadcast live in the middle of the day from a little auditorium there at radio station WIVK in Knoxville.
Just all these prices, they just can't be beat. You got the red coffee and you want some more.
Do you grocery shopping at a
Just Walker store. Say it again, dog.
Do you grocery shopping at a
Just Walker store.
By the time I was 10 years old, I was on the radio. And I sang on television before my family ever even owned one.
Howdy, neighbors, and thanks for tuning into the program. I need to remind all of you folks about this week's grocery specials. I guarantee you these are rock bottom, cost cutter prices, and you won't do any better at any of them big national chain stores. Now, I want to welcome a local gal that's become quite popular on our show. In fact, she's just made her first recording with Gold Band Records. And you wrote this tune, little lady?
I sure did. That is, Uncle Bill and I wrote it together.
Well, let's have a listen.
The puppy love, they'll call it puppy love. I'm old enough now to kiss and hug, now I can. It's puppy love. Oh, my pigtails makes me mad. When you kiss me, it makes me glad. Don't believe it, it makes me sad. Still use me, sweetheart, I ever had. Puppy love, they'll call it puppy love. I'm old enough now to kiss and hug, now I can. It's puppy love. It's puppy love. Woof, woof.
I performed on the Kaz Walker show all through school, while at the same time Uncle Bill decided that we should go to Nashville with the hope of getting me on the grand old property. Hit by some kind of water and gas station restrooms, but our goal was to get as close as we could to where the action was.
Here's the Pet Milk Grand Ole Opry.
One night after the Grand Ole Opry at the Ryman, Uncle Bill and I waited and waited and waited in the parking lot to meet Johnny Cash. Finally, I was a feisty kind of kid. I don't know who coined the phrase, but it used to be said of me that I was smart enough to know everything and dumb enough to say it. But being 13 years old from the Smokies and having never seen a man with such a presence, I didn't know if I'd be able to speak. Well, that didn't last long.
Oh, Mr. Cash, I've just got to sing on the Grand Old Opry. I've just got to.
You know, I actually think you mean it.
Finally, one Saturday night, Jimmy C. Newman agreed to let me go on in his spot. And when my time came to sing, it just so happened that...
Oh, won't you two now? If you'd please make welcome a little girl I met recently. She's from up in East Tennessee, and her daddy's at home listening to the radio. She's gonna be in a lot...
Encores. That night, it was as if I was saying, "Here I am, world, this is me." After that, Uncle Bill and I signed a deal with Buddy Killen at Tree Publishing as songwriters, and I was to have a recording session for Mercury Records.
It may not kill me, but it sure gonna hurt. Since my baby left me, I don't know what to do. Just couldn't believe my eyes when I saw him with you. He left me for you, oh, he's treating me like dirt. It may not kill me, but it sure gonna hurt.
The record failed to chart, and I was dropped from Mercury Records. My graduation from high school couldn't come fast enough because the following day I was heading to Nashville. I boarded that Greyhound bus with my dreams, my old guitar, the songs I've been writing for years, and the rest of my belongings in a set of matching luggage. 3 paper bags from the same grocery store. It was never easy, and it could get mighty lonesome. There was a lot of knocking on doors and random singing gigs here and there. I couldn't afford a car, didn't have a telephone, and about the only time I ate was when I went out on a date. And I didn't go out on that many dates. But I had this something that kept pushing me forward, even when I was so scared I wish I could die. It was something I had to do, not because somebody else had told me I had to, because I told myself I did. At last, I become what people in the business were calling up and coming. I did live spots on the Ralph Emery Show and another early morning radio program called The Eddie Hill Show. By early morning shows, I mean 5 o'clock in the morning. Our first big break came when Fred Foster, who owned both Combine Publishing and Monument Records, signed Uncle Bill and I to a deal that included both writing and recording. Country singer Bill Phillips wanted to record one of our songs called Put It Off Until Tomorrow and asked if the girl singer on the demo. Well, the record was a big hit, and disc jockeys all over America were asking, "Who's that girl singing harmony?" Well, that was just the ammunition we needed to convince Fred Foster that I should be singing some serious country.
Dolly, you've recorded a beautiful song recently. Why don't you go ahead and sing, Dumvant?
Say what?
Now that came...
There must be something fishy going on. You said you were going on like a jet trip with some old friend. You said that you'd be home tonight somewhere around 10. Well, he really is used to a call. You're still not at home. I think there's something fishy going on. Yeah, fishy going on.
One day, I walked into the office of Monument Records and was surprised to find a message from Porter Wagner, a request to come to his office with my guitar. He had the #1 syndicated television show in the country at the time, and a female singer on his show, Norma Jean, who everybody loved. Now, I had sent songs to people all over Nashville, including Porter and Norma Jean, so I assumed that was the reason my guitar and I were being summoned. I sang the song that I brought, and he just sat there for a minute or two with his hands on his chin, and suddenly he blurted out, "Norma Jean's getting married and moving to Oklahoma. I want you to be my new girl singer."
And now, in color, it's the Porter Riker Show, starring Porter Riker with Don Warner and the Wagon Masters, featuring Spec Rhodes and Dolly Parton, bringing you the songs and stars of the Grand Ole Opry. Please welcome Porter Riker and Dolly Parton.
It's a lesson too late for learning, made of sand, made of sand.
In the wink of an eye, my soul's turning in your hand, in your hand. Are you going away with no last farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? I could love you better if you don't hide. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Every word you on my mind was talking, round and round.
Underneath our fearsome waves rumbling, underground, underground.
Are you going away with no last farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind?
I could love you better, didn't mean to be unkind.
You know that was the last thing on my mind. You know that was the last thing on my mind.
Now here's a little gal I know you're really gonna learn to love, because she's a fine singer and one of the finest little gals I know, pretty Miss Dolly Parton.
Any relationship is like a house with an upstairs. It's got 2 stories. I would say that the real problems that arose between Porter and I were all about dueling dreams. Porter dreamed of me staying with his show forever, and I dreamed of having my own show, my own future. Many people think that the song "I Will Always Love You" was written about a breakup of 2 lovers, but in fact, I wrote it about Porter and the special, although painfully heart-wrenching time that we spent together. But it was time to move on. They say all good things must come to an end. I say,
I can't see the light. Lord, I can see the light of a brand new day. I can see the light of a clear blue
called the Traveling Family Band. And then I did get my own television show, and I called it Dolly. Surprise! I was just trying to find a new direction for myself.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my breath. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, the flaming locks of auburn hair, flowery skin and eyes of lemon green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. Jolene, 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 oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my bed. Jolene, 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 please don't take him even though
I decided it was time my music reached a wider audience, so I headed west. I signed with manager Sandy Gallen, who wanted me to be a star even more than I did. And even though some of the folks back in Nashville complained that I was leaving country music, I'd always reply, I'm not leaving it, I'm taking it with me. But I never had as a kid. I don't try to follow any styles, may not be in style, but I like to think that I've got my own style. Like Minnie Pearl used to say, any old barn looks better with a little red paint on it.
here I go. I think I'll cry these useless tears and get myself together. I think I'll wander down the hall, the top of the house. 'Cause I can't stay inside this lonely room and cry forever. I think I'd really rather join them 2 doors down. Alright, 2 doors down, they're laughing and drinking and having a party. 2 doors down, they're not well around. Here I am, no longer crying, feeling sorry. Having a party, 2 doors down. Oh, 2 doors down. I love
songs, talk show appearances, concerts, opportunities to produce new albums, while at the same time, there were always songs to be written and stories to be told.
Working 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. 9 to 5.
Dolly Parton is at the brink of a radical shift that should, if there is any justice in pop music heaven, make her one of the great stars of American entertainment.
Baby, when I met you,
Sitting on the front porch on a summer afternoon, in a straight back chair on 2 legs leaned against the wall.
Home has a way of calling you back, be it in the memories, the people, or just the feelings of comfort and love that home seems to promise. Sometimes it seems like you can just breathe a little better there, and sometimes maybe find yourself again. There's a reason they're called roots, planted deep and hard to get rid of.
My Tennessee grounds like home. Life is as peaceful as the lady sun.
My Smoky Mountain DNA are really these kinds of songs. Once I start to sing them, that music just gets to me. It just hollers at me all the time. Says, you get back in here. This is who you are. This
Silver threads and golden needles cannot mend this heart of mine. And I dare not drown my sorrow in the warm glow of your eyes. You can't buy my love with money, oh, I never was that kind. Silver threads and golden needles cannot mend this heart of mine. Silver threads and golden needles cannot mend this heart of mine. And I dare not drown my sorrow in the wonderful of your eyes. You can't buy my love with money, oh, I never was that kind. Silver threads and golden needles cannot mend this heart of mine.
to know about me is in my songs. My ups, my downs, my good and my not so good times, my heartaches and my heartbreaks, they're all there in the stories I write. My hope is that people listening might realize that other folks have the same feelings and they're not alone.
And I don't love you, and the grass is
I'm not offended by all the dumb blonde joke, and I know I'm not blonde. The night I graduated from high school, we were all asked to stand up and talk about what we were going to do with the rest of our lives. When it came my time, well, I stood right up, and I said, well, I'm going to Nashville, and I'm going to be a star. Well, the whole place just laughed out loud, and I was so embarrassed, and I thought, how odd. Why is everybody laughing?
There was this little town in Tennessee just making hay.
and apparently this little gal was ready to stay.
From the humble beginning, she would rise to the top.
With the talent and desire simply known as star.
She had
how long does it take to do your hair? Well, how long will I know? I'm never there. Well, I'm a self-made woman, and I've got the doctor bills to prove it. Well, I've tried every diet in the book. I tried some that weren't in the book. I tried eating the book. It tasted better than most of the diets.
A splash of optimism.
Don't get so busy making a living, you forget to make a life.
And that's what we call.
One question I often get is, what do you want people to say about you 100 years from now? Well, I want them to say, dang, don't she look good for her age? Dolly, are you ever going to slow down? I always say, now why in the world would I go and do a thing like that? If you love what you're doing, why would you ever stop doing what you love? Everything takes hard work. Everything takes sacrifice. But wherever there's a song to be sung and a story to be told, well, that's where you'll find me.
Well, I sacrificed time with family and friends. Gave up vacations for without end. 24/7, 365. I was willing to make this sacrifice. Empty or full, I carried my veil. You don't drink the water if you don't make the way. Through blood, sweat, and tears, I had to die, but it didn't come without sacrifice. Mama's gotta be rich, no matter how much it costs. Not so rich, no matter how much I lost. All through the years, I kept my eye on the prize. You guys didn't deserve the sacrifice. I wanted success, and brother, I paid the price. I'm sitting rhinestones of dirt on my life. That's what God will tell me. Work on my child. You want your reward for your sacrifice. Your sacrifice. So you better get to living, giving. Don't forget to throw in a little more giving and loving all the way. You better get to going, showing a little bit more concern about where you're going. Get the word out to the wise. You better get to living.
Better get to living. The day when you want to start to die. Get to living. Better get to living.
Share your dreams and share your laughter. Make some fun for the great hereafter.
Better get to living. Better stop caring. Stop sharing. Stop crying. Smiling. And you better get to living.
The journey is on a road, not a highway. We don't travel this road in a fine car, or even in the most humble horse-drawn wagon. We walk it each step of the way with the dust of that rugged road clinging to our bare feet. Although we seldom realize it at the time, that dust is more precious to us than gold dust. It is the dust of experience, of error, of forgiveness, of risk and reward. More important than the road itself are the people we meet along the way and the love we share with them. The poet Emily Dickinson once said, "The only thing I know about love is that love is all there is." And as my mama would always say, we're rich people because we know we've got love and we got each other.